Hey everybody, and welcome to the latest edition of Match Play on PGA TOUR.com. I'm John Swantek. Let's meet this week's contestants. We say hello to Matt Adams from the PGA Tour Network, whose show Fairways of Life can be heard weekday mornings on SiriusXM Radio, and Global Golf Post contributor Len Shapiro, who's the co-author of an interesting new book that's out entitled Golf List Mania. So look for that. And Len has the honor for topic number one. KJ Choi wins the Players' Championship in a sudden death playoff over David Toms, which began and ended on the par 3 17th. Len, I'm going to put you in charge of deciding the playoff format for the Players' Championship. What should it be?
I absolutely hate the fact that they went back to 17. I mean, I think it's a fun hole, it's a quirky hole, but I don't think that's where a championship ought to be decided. I think the Tour needs to think about that again. I think they need to go back and do it the way they do it in most places. Start at 18, which is, by the way, one of the great finishing holes in the wide world of golf, and I think they ought to start playing the playoffs. 17, I hated it when Paul Goidos dunked one in the water a couple of years ago and lost to Sergio Garcia. Nobody wants to see that happen. We've seen 4 days of 17. We've seen all the balls in the water. We know it's a thrill ride. But go to 18 and then maybe go back to 16. And if you have to go 17, if it goes 3 holes, okay, put it in the middle. Go 16, 17, 18. But to start at 17, no mas.
Matt, it doesn't get more sudden death than 17. What are your thoughts?
Well, actually, while I have great respect for Len, I completely disagree with him. I think it's the perfect place to start a playoff. I wouldn't switch it at all. The playoffs are not 18-hole medal play events. They're a flashpoint. They're a right cross that connects and instantly ends the fight. There's no hole that tests a competitor's intestinal fortitude better than starting the playoffs at the 17th at TPC Sawgrass. So I love it. I wouldn't change a thing.
Purists may like it, and we respect Len's opinion, certainly, but it seems to fit this event. I'm going to give topic number one to Matt Adams, who also gets his first crack at topic number two. Let's talk about that finishing 3-hole stretch there, 16, 17, and 18 at Sawgrass, Matt, which always seems to have a major impact on the outcome of the championship. Is it the best 3-hole finishing stretch on tour?
Well, it starts, John, with how you define what is the best finishing stretch on tour. What makes 16, 17, and 18 at TPC Sawgrass, the stadium course, different is that given the quality and the depth of the field, given the pressure that exists on Sunday afternoon, and given the risk-reward options that you have on each one of those holes, and on each one of those holes, it was a major factor in the conclusion of the tournament on Sunday afternoon. Based on that criteria, I would say yes, it is the best finishing stretch on tour.
Len, there's certainly great theater on those 3 holes and a wide array of numbers that can be made on those holes.
I don't disagree. I know we're supposed to disagree, but I can't disagree. I mean, the only thing that sort of comes close is Augusta National. Now, we talk about a par 3 and 2 par 4s to finish there. 16 is a great risk-reward hole, going for that green and 2 and flirting with the water down on the right. 17 we've talked about already, and 18 I think is the toughest finishing hole on tour, quite frankly. And I would not argue against those 3 holes being the best finishing holes in golf.
On those 3 finishing holes, you can go 3, 2, 4, or possibly 6, 6, 6. It is exciting. Both gentlemen in agreement, so we're going to have topic number 2. Let's move on to our third topic, and let's move on to this week's PGA Tour stop, the Crowne Plaza Invitational in Fort Worth, Texas at Colonial. Len Shapiro, the track is synonymous with the late, great Ben Hogan. Which player currently competing on tour most resembles the iconic Hogan, and why?
The one guy who comes immediately to mind would be Justin Leonard, who, like Hogan, is a Texan, who, like Hogan, has sort of or did have in years past, sort of a gruff exterior, didn't suffer fools gladly, as Hogan never did, and also won a major championship and won it in very gritty fashion when he won the British Open. So that would be my choice. 2 other guys, physically and in swing, Jeff Ogilvy sort of reminds me of him just because of his swing. And Jonathan Bird, just physically, when he wears the Hogan kind of cap that he likes to wear over that bald head, also looks like him. But none of those 3 guys will ever approach Hogan in terms of being an icon of golf.
Yeah, I like all of those. Matt, is there a Hogan-esque player out there in your view?
In terms of the physical appearance, I agree with Len that Jonathan Bird represents himself physically the most similar to Ben Hogan. I think the real definition of a Hogan-like player comes from one's focus, that stare, the hawk, the mentality. And I would go back to last week, and I'd say right now, again, it's a flashpoint, but at this moment, the player that approximates Ben Hogan in terms of the focus that he has every time he hits a shot, to me, is KJ Choi. He'll hit a shot, and he'll stare that thing down. I think from that standpoint, I would say KJ Choi.
I like the reference to Jonathan Bird that both gentlemen made this week. He is a Hogan disciple. Let's have topic number 3, which gives Matt Adams a narrow edge and a hard-fought victory over Len Shapiro this week on Match Play. I appreciate the time, gentlemen. It was well played. Thank you.